Hey guys, it's Verena here. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome to my channel. I make bookish videos, and I would say how often I post, except that would not be true because I have not posted a video in about a month. Now, little quick story time. I have been through a huge content block, and I don't know what it is, what caused it. I don't know if it's because we're nearing the end of winter. I found out I truly despise winter. So yeah, I have not posted any videos in a while. I had, I think, at least 2 videos that I sat down and actually filmed, started editing and everything, and just never published them. I don't know what that was about. I just didn't want to upload them or anything. Been going through it, you know, as we do. But that's not the point of this video. I've seen multiple creators do this. It is the romance book recommendations tag, obviously romance edition, and I thought that this would be a really good video to do to kind of bring me back into video creating and everything. So let's go ahead and jump into this. I will put all the questions down below, as well as who created this, which is going to be Steph. So a big thank you to her for creating this tag. I'm going to be looking down multiple times because I have my iPad with all of the questions, because I'm not somebody who's going to remember everything off the top of my head. That's not me. Anyway, so I thought that this would be really fun for you guys to kind of get to know me if you don't know me that well. All of my social media links are down below if you want to see what else I'm doing. I'm the most active, there we go, active on Instagram. If you guys want to go follow me there, I would greatly appreciate it. But let's go ahead and jump into this. So the very first question is to tell a book that you tell everybody that is your favorite. Now, I always, anytime anybody asks for my favorites, I always have multiple. So this question is really hard for me to answer, but I really tried to stick to one book per question. Some of these are going to have repeat books for the questions. I know that there's going to be books that once I'm editing will be like, I really should have chose this book, because I am somebody who cannot narrow down just one book. So the fact that I was able to even pick one book is pretty amazing. So let's go ahead and get to this question. So the book that I always tell people to read, now again, this book is not going to be for everybody, so this probably wasn't the best option, but 9 times out of 10, anybody asks me what my favorite book is, I'm probably going to say Hades Hangman. I feel like it really describes me as a reader because I am a big dark romance reader. I know my bookshelves probably say differently because I have quite the array of books on my bookshelves. I literally have historical romance, and literally behind me is my dark romance shelf. Literally 2 opposite spectrums of my reading, but I kind of read all over the place, and I think that's really fun for me because I honestly will never get bored because there's always hundreds and hundreds of books to read. So basically, this is a biker romance series set in Austin, Texas. It involves cults. It's really dark. There's a lot of triggers. I do not recommend this series for everybody, but if you're a dark romance reader, highly recommend. I adore this series. Book 2, which is Heart Recaptured, follows the vice president of this club. He is my favorite. I love these men because they're very sweet to an extent, I guess as sweet as they can be, to their women. They're very protective of them, and I absolutely adore this series to pieces. Okay, so the next question is a book that is my guilty pleasure. This book. I read this book, I think back in 2020, I think. Somewhere around there, maybe 2021. I don't remember what exactly the year. I have legit been obsessed with this book since. Have I reread it since? No, but you better believe I'm going to be rereading it April because it's my birthday month. Just a little side note, my birthday is April 30th. My birthday is literally the last day of April, so I have the entire month to celebrate, and you better believe I'm gonna do that. Anyway, I love this book. If you don't know this book, you are truly living under a rock because this book is everywhere, especially this author in general. They're everything to the book community. Their books are everywhere. This book is amazing. It's an age gap, all the goodness. I love it. The next question is a book that everybody loved, but you didn't. I don't have a physical copy of this because typically anytime I have books of that I don't really care for, I don't keep them. I have no reason to keep them on my shelves if I don't love them. So this is going to be Flock by Kate Stewart, the Ravenhood trilogy. I sadly just didn't obsess over this series like everybody seems to. I did not connect to any of the characters in book 1. I did make it through book 2 because mostly out of curiosity to figure out what this whole rainy day, like, you know, thing that is going around. I wanted to know what exactly happened. I kind of already had an idea what exactly happened. I just wanted to see like what led up to it. I did not read book 3. I never will. This was not the series for me, which is a total bummer because I wanted to love it like everybody did, and unfortunately it didn't work for me. And I know that's going to happen for a lot of people, that some of these books that are on my list of books I love, you may not love them, and that's totally fine. So the next question is a book you have read the fastest. This is kind of hard to answer because it really depends on my mood and what I'm doing right then and there, because I am the definition of 1, a mood reader, and 2, I get distracted very easily. So audiobooks while I'm working towards like the end of the week is usually when I can crank out audiobooks a lot easier, because it's a lot more mindless task for me throughout the rest of the week. So recently it's been Catherine Amara with what's the first book? Oh, Until You. And this one is a like secret identity. I can't remember the other tropes. That was the first one that popped in my head, but y'all, this book is so good. And then I immediately started Dr. Grant, which is the second book in the series. This one is an age gap, forbidden romance. Absolutely loved it, and I see why everybody is obsessed with her books. So I'm really excited to get to more of her books soon. I literally went through both of those books, especially Dr. Grant. I didn't stop the audiobook. I kept going. I literally binged the entire book in one sitting, mostly because I was doing mindless tasks for several hours. So I literally just kept it playing, and it was a great time. The next question is a book that deserves more hype. And I feel like I could put a lot of books on this question, but again, I tried to pick one book. And so if you know me, I am a single parent, like Die Hard. That is my go-to trope. So I figured it would be fitting if I choose a book that fits within that trope. So I chose For the Love of English by A.M. Hargrove. This is a forbidden romance. It's a single dad. She is a teacher to his daughter. Daughter's very spunky. She's super adorable. And this is definitely a grumpy sunshine also, because he wants to do everything for his daughter, but he's also a big grump. Like, he doesn't want to be at these like functions and stuff for school, and he's just like, whatever, like, do what you need to do. You're the teacher, you know what you're doing. She's like, but wait, you know, like, there's these things going on. Anyway, I think she's a first grade teacher, if I remember correctly, something like that. She's pretty young. But this book, y'all, it was so cute. I really need more people to read this. I have read, like, a couple of my friends have read it, but it definitely doesn't get enough hype, and it's very surprising because I know so many people also love single parents, so I don't know why people are not talking about this book. So please go read it. Next question is a book that is becoming a movie or a TV show. For the most part, I feel like I keep up with these. See, again, there's a book that I literally just came up with, but it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's not the book I'm going to talk about, but I'm pretty sure that this has been optioned as a movie as well, or a TV show. It's The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. If you know anything, Daisy Jones and the Six just came out on Amazon Prime. I've watched a little bit here and there, but I'm not like completely invested. I haven't read the book yet, so I'm usually one of those that say I'm going to read the book first before I dive into a TV show or a movie or whatever. But I read this book years ago, and it is one of my all-time favorite books. This book completely took me by surprise. This book is amazing. I recommend going to it blind, because that's exactly what I did, and it completely shocked me. This book is amazing. But I'm pretty sure that this is being made into a movie or a TV show. If I'm wrong, oh well. So if that's true, then I'll just throw this one in there, because I know that this is a recent announcement that Praise by Sarah Kate is being optioned right now as, I can't remember if it's a TV show or a movie. Either way, this one's going to be really interesting, but I remember seeing that announcement. The next question is a book that you reread the most. Now, I'm also not typically a rereader, because I prefer to read new books to me than rereading books, but that doesn't mean I won't do it. So this was really hard to answer, because there's not really books like that I've been reading since 2013 when I got back into reading. There's not really any books that I've read more than 2 times, like reread it and then that's it. So this was kind of hard to say, so I'm gonna go the typical route and just say Twilight. This is just one of those like special editions that came out because I'm too lazy to get out my other edition. So I'm gonna go ahead and say Twilight. Plus, Twilight is the reason I'm a reader, so I feel like that's a safe option, because obviously when these movies were coming out, I would reread the books I got into them after Twilight was already in the theaters, like it had been out for at least a month or so, and then I went and saw the movie, immediately became obsessed, and then fell down the rabbit hole of Twilight. So each movie premiere, I would reread the series. I can't remember if I did it for Breaking Dawn. I don't remember if I did it for both movies, like both parts of the movie, or if I just stopped after Eclipse, because then I got older, you know, I was finishing high school and getting into college and all that kind of stuff. I can't remember if I reread it for Breaking Dawn or not, but I've at least reread the series at least twice. So that would definitely be my answer for this question. I know that was kind of like the easy way out, so I'm sorry if that was not the response you were wanting, but we're gonna make it work. So the next question is a book from a genre you don't typically read. Now, this is a really hard question for me to answer, because that has been one of my biggest goals the last couple of years, is to basically branch myself out and try different books that I wouldn't normally pick up. But one of them that I got into, I think it was last year, is going to be monster romance. And I gotta, like, anytime I can talk about this book, I'm going to bring up this book. This is Muscles and Monsters by Ashley Bennett. This is the cutest little book I have ever seen. It's super, like, it's not, you know, a super long book. Like, you're not having to commit days and days to read this book. It is a very quick read. It is just pure sweetness. It is such a good time. I personally think that this is the perfect book to get into monster romance, because it's not like heavy in all the like different paranormal creatures, all the monsters. It's not like super in it. It's very light and fluffy. She is a cupcake owner business, and he is, I think he's either the owner of the gym or he's just really big into like fitness and things. They basically make a pact where they're gonna, like, you know, work with each other, and it just becomes a really cute relationship between the two of them. And it's absolutely precious. Anytime I can talk about this book, I do, because it's so cute. The next question is a book you usually recommend when people give you a recommendation. When asked to give you a recommendation, my bad. So again, I feel like this is probably not the best answer to this question, because I feel like everybody at this point knows about this author, but I'm gonna go with, I guess the most obvious answer is going to be Tattered Stars by Catherine Cowles. This is her most recent completed series. She has started a brand new series as of this year called Whispers of You. That is the very first book. I know she's supposed to have book 2 coming out fairly recent, or like fairly soon. But this is the first book in 5 books in this series. Highly recommend her books. Like, she is truly a genuinely amazing person. She's super sweet. Her books are amazing. They have like that suspense element to it, set in small towns. You literally cannot go wrong with her books. So if you have not checked out her books, I highly recommend giving this one a shot, just because it's, in my opinion, and for a lot of people, this is probably like one of her best work, because obviously as you know, get established being an author, the more books you publish, the stronger your writing gets. And here you go. But personally, I've read some of her like previous releases, and they're just as amazing. So I mean, you can't go wrong with Catherine Cowles, because she's just amazing. So there's my answer for that question. Okay, next question is a book that has one of your favorite characters. So if you know me, obviously my last name that I have on social media is not my actual legal last name. You will probably never know, so don't try to find out. So anyway, it's because of this book, Where I Belong by J. Daniels. I had a previous last name that, if you've known me for a while, then you probably remember I was called Maddox, but for obvious reasons I had to get rid of that last name. Because I no longer support the author that has that character name. I'm not even going to get into it, because she doesn't deserve to even have her name mentioned on this video, so I'm not going to. But anyway, Ben Kelly is my absolute favorite character. I love him so much. I read this back in like 2014, 2015. I don't know. It's been so long since I read it. This is like one of the OG covers, which if you try to find this cover, you won't, because this cover is so old. There's been multiple re-editions of it. But anyway, I love his character. I love him. This is set in a small town in, I think it's Alabama. This is single dad. Again, starting my love for single parent. It is a forbidden romance. It is best friend's brother, or, you know, that kind of thing. It's amazing. Love it. One night stand. They literally don't remember each other when it happens, and it's just a great time. Next question is a book that you wish you could live in. I feel like this is a really hard question to answer because I feel like any book, because I don't know about you, but you could probably agree with me that we read books to escape reality. So any book that we could live in is probably the best. Now I say that there could be some questionable ones like dystopian books, although now that I say that, but you know, there are some worlds like the Hunger Games, for example, maybe not the best world to live in. So but honestly, it was a really hard question to answer because obviously for the most part I read romance, so wouldn't I just want to live in any of them and get, you know, my book husband? So I'm just gonna go back and say Where It Belongs by J. Daniels because he's my book husband. So that's a safe answer, right? I had to go the safe option with that one. So the next question is a book you thought you would hate but you ended up loving. So I'm gonna go back to Monster Romance because like I said, I did try it out last year and okay, please please bear with me. You are gonna think I'm absolutely insane when I show you this book. Okay, so here's the book. Morning Glory Milking Farm by C.M. Acosta. It's exactly what you would think it would be. It has the most bonkers concept to a book, but I'm not gonna lie to you, I am obsessed with this book. When people were talking about it, especially on like Book Talk and stuff, and they were saying how much they love this book, I'm like, really? Like a book about that? Like that's a thing? Like what? But I was like, okay, it's weird. Don't get me wrong. This is the strangest concept I've ever read about, but it worked. I don't know. It's just a weird concept that you can't help but love. So that's kind of my answer. I didn't know how I was going to feel about it, but I ended up loving this book. So yeah. So the next question is going to be a book that made you cry. Now, I don't typically pick up books that are going to make me cry. If I know it's going to make me cry, 9 times out of 10, I'm going to put it away. I don't want those emotions. It's not to say I won't read them. It's just I really have to be in the mood for those, and most of the time I'm not in the mood to cry in a book. I mostly just want to gush and fangirl and fall in love with a new book boyfriend versus bawling my eyes out. But hands down, this is gonna be the book that I'm going to answer with. It is going to be Brightside by Kim Holden. This book is going to make you ugly sob. Like, this book is such a beautiful story. I don't even know like how to talk about this book anymore because it's been so long since I've read this book. I think I read it back in like 2017. But I feel like everybody just needs to read this book just to experience how beautiful this story is. Like, I get emotional talking about this book because like it's so good. I don't even know how to like give a synopsis. I don't even think I need to, because I think you need to go into this book blind, just knowing you're gonna ugly sob. I mean, right? I don't know how to talk about this book and not give anything away. So just go into it blind. I feel like that's the safest way to tell you about the book, right? Okay, anyway, the very last question is a book you wish you could read again. Every single book I read. Like, how would you not want to re-experience all these books that you've read and you've fallen in love with to want to refeel those feelings again? So I feel like any of these books I just said for the most part would be an option, but I'm going to go back to where it all started because, that's me. Another safe option. I'm sorry, I'm typical. I'm going to be that typical booktuber who says all the obvious answers. I'm sorry. But for real, this is what started my love for reading. Edward Cullen does it for me. I will always be a Twilight fan. I don't care what you say. I will give you, I had this whole argument with my boyfriend about this because I made him watch the movies. And he had a valid argument. I will give him that about Renesmee. The CGI baby, all of it, I hate it. That is my one complaint. It could be better, don't get me wrong, okay? But for the most part, with our budget and everything, especially towards the end, it it did great, okay? I will go hard on this ship. Like, I'm not joking. I love Twilight. See, I'm gushing. But anyway, that would be my answer. If I could re-experience this and just live my preteen, not even preteen, teenage years again, living for this series and sparking my love for reading, 100% would do it again. Freaking love it. Oh my gosh, I can't. So anyway, that is all 15 questions for you guys. If you guys want to do this, consider yourself tagged. I don't really tag anybody anymore, mostly because I don't know who to tag, to be honest. But if you would like to do this, I'll go ahead and tag you. So here's your tag. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoy this. If you guys want to see more bookish content from me, please like and subscribe. I would absolutely appreciate it. I recently did hit 500 subscribers, which is I can't, like, I am just so over the moon that I have 500 people following me to watch me gush about books. Like, what? It's so awesome. But anyway, I really hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.